Alright, I can already hear the sounds coming from my DMs baby raging at me because I stole that intro from Astro Soup. It was about time I talked about the drone, but this vehicle has been dragged to death. Oh, Daddy Rockstar, this was the second best invention you have put on GTA, only seconded by the ability to mug someone over and over and over and make them do the Vietnam War vet who fell off his wheelchair impression. Ghost Perp, you fucking asshole. So I figured since everyone talked about the FBI van's drone, I might as well talk about all the drones. Also, when I talk about drones, I mean the RC helicopters added to the Terabyte and to the arcade, because those are the ones that will get the video to 10 minutes. There are 3 different types of drones. There's the Terabyte drone, the Nano Drone found in your arcade, and lastly the Nano Drone found in your inventory. There is a massive difference between each. Starting with the Terabyte drone, this is the original drone added to GT Online via the After Hours DLC drip feed. Out of all the drones, this one is the most expensive. Funny enough, however, it's the worst. Only after buying a nightclub, which the cheapest option is 1.08 million. Then you can buy the Terabyte for 1.375 million. But wait, cause buying your FBI van number 436 wasn't expensive enough, they also make you have to buy the drone station for said FBI van. How much do you have to fork over to install Obama's wet dream? 815,000. Yep, 185,000 shy of 1 million for an Airhog's shadow launcher with your mom's taser and that weird Arab kid's loaded backpack. Seriously, how the fuck is my channel still monetized? Also, that totals to 3.27 million. The drone itself is nothing to talk about. This drone travels at a speed of 18 kilometers per hour, which according to my calculations is fucking slow. Like, Ricky Berwick could beat this thing at a drag race.
Do you have any idea how fast I am? I'm fast as fuck, boy!
Nah, but seriously, the speed of a normal player is enough to outrun this drone. The only way to catch up with a player is to use a boost. When you use the boost, your average speed ramps up to 25.7 kilometers per hour. I say average because the boost only runs for about 4 seconds with a 15-second cooldown. That means most of your travel, even when using the boost as much as you can, will be spent flying normally with a spicy force. The taser is an instant use weapon readily available when the button is pressed. The tase effect lasts for about 5 seconds, but it takes 6 seconds for a player to get up and be able to fight back, or depending on where you stand, be tased again. That is because throughout the entire process of getting tased, the receiving player cannot be tased until he is fully back on his feet. And since the cooldown for tasing is 12 seconds, you and another dedicated individual could ideally resist a player of a chance to play GTA Online if both of you time your shocks properly. However, that is quite hard given the physics of GTA is big poo poo. Explosive strapped to the drone is the secondary weapon of the drone. Unlike the taser, the detonation is not at the press of a button and instead has a 7-second timer which you need to hold down to get it to explode. If you let go of the detonation button, the progress will instantly drop to 0. Meaning you can't do the same strat with the RC Bandito, which is just tapping the explosive button to keep it close to detonating. The explosion has a yield of a sticky bomb, but the blast radius of an explosive sniper. Meaning the radius of the explosion is tiny, but whatever's inside of that small radius will not be having a good day. Also, it's really hard to tell the deadline for this drone's range, but I found that an estimate of 300 meters is where it cuts off.
What's his name? Pretty little thing.
Moving on to the arcade drone. This one's probably my least favorite. As you might have already guessed it, the drone is accessible from the recently released, at the time of recording, arcade. The cheapest arcade located just between Carajo Land and buttfuck nowhere goes for 1.235 million with an added 1.46 million just to buy the drone station in the arcade, which totals up to 2.695 million. That is $575,000 difference from the Terabyte drone. Going for the stats, the drone travels at a speed of 37 kilometers per hour, Already it's a massive improvement from the Terabyte Drone. This time it's a lot faster than a player, but if you remember, the boost gave the Terabyte Drone its hopes and dreams. So let's look at the speed of the drone with boost. Do you see the difference? Cause I fucking don't. I'm not sure if I was in a glitch session or if I'm being fucking punked, but the average speed of the drone when using boost as much as I could ended up being 37 kilometers per hour. The exact same as if I didn't use the boost. Knowing Rockstar, this is a glitch that we may as well call it a fucking feature. I do however have to point out that the speed to increase altitude is a lot faster if you use the boost rather than if you don't. Yay! Just like the Terabyte Drone, the boost duration of the arcade drone and the cooldown of the boost are 4 and 15 seconds respectively. As a matter of fact, everything else about the drone is a carbon copy of the Terabyte Drone. The taser effect time is 6 seconds, the taser cooldown is 12, and the explosion timer is 7. One thing I'm not exactly sure of, it's the explosion radius of this thing. It could be the exact same as the Terabyte Drone, but I have had some of the most random hit reg I've ever seen. The range of this drone is over twice the range of the Terabyte at 600 meters, but I have seen videos where people claim it's like it can hold down the entire city. Jesus Christ, is DARPA giving you their drones? So why is it that I don't like this type of drone? Because it's not fucking fun. What's so fun about sitting in a dank basement reminiscent of the average Fortnite tryhard's living conditions? Yes, that's a living in mommy's basement joke. Why, you think I'm a fucking comedy genius? Oh no, you're watching the wrong channel for that. Go watch GTA 5 tryhard montages for the real comedy. There's no risk in using the drone from the drone station in the arcade. It's probably funny if you're getting camped while in your arcade by some salty degenerate, but besides that, I don't find a use for it. Like, you might as well sit on an orbital cannon and orb someone and wait 45 minutes to orb again. That right there is just as fun as laying your oily hands on these arcade machines. Sure, it's cool that now 4 people can use the drones at the exact same time from your arcade even if they don't own it, but what's even the point? But alas, we get to the last drone. For this one, I'm going to refer to it as the Nano Drone because that's what it's called, as opposed to the arcade drone that's just called Drone. The Nano Drone is a straight carbon copy of the arcade drone found inside your arcade. You have access to the Nano Drone once you buy the arcade drone station. To access the Nano Drone, you have to be outside an interior. Interestingly enough, this does not include places like some clothing stores, tattoo parlors, convenience stores, and shit like that. It seems like you just need enough space to launch it. You can even open doors just slightly enough to walk through them, and enter interiors that might not be accessible by the drone if you were to enter before deploying the drone. Just be careful about it. I'm not exactly sure how much drones can take from this, but it is quite interesting that you can enter interiors with this drone. It's a feature that's not shared with the RC Bandito or the RC Tank. +1 for air hogs. Fuck you, Red Cat Racing. Hold my fat fucking L's. Unless you give me money, then I'll only use the RC Bandito for life. But that does add a lot of troll possibilities. You could quietly fly on top of a clothing shop while someone is inside. Bring out your little DARPA drone, slide that bitch inside, then tase the bitch at the counter and start charging at the detonation sequence and flying towards your target like you're freedom fighting in Syria. Once you land your kill, you make your disappearance. Now, I'm not saying to do this to all bulletproof helmet rebreathers wearing L's, clan tag, bearing tryhards with a modded KD and profile bio saying something like disrespect equals disconnect. But what I am saying is, we have run out of natural predators to cull the herd of autism that is a GTA tryhard community, and it's up to us 4-eyed nerds with nasal problems to deal with them. Extra points to whoever gets as much amount of tryhards upset that you end up getting DDoSed. Holy shit, that was a monologue and a half. Getting back to the stats of this thing, like I said, it's a complete carbon copy of the arcade drone, but with the same range as a Terabyte drone. When using it, it feels like it has a smaller range than the Terabyte drone. That's because it has the speed of the arcade drone, so getting from one end of the range to the other is a lot quicker. By far, this drone is my favorite. It's kind of weird, however, because typically someone would want to at least protect themselves in any way when using a tool that says hit or miss No, I never found the Terabyte Drone fun, and I certainly do not find the arcade drone fun. I love the uncertainty that comes with using this drone. I love the danger aspect that comes with abandoning your player just to go inject over 50,000 bolts and a few milliamps at the neighborhood laughingstock. XX underscore barcode underscore XX. A common strat that I do love to use, using my Mark II to fly on top of rooftops and deploy my drone from there. Roof Koreans? Nah, more like roof Obamas. Get it? Because Obama had a hard-on for drone striking? That's like a joke or something. I'm a fucking comedy genius. So as it turns out, you can put on ballistic equipment before accessing your Nano Drone. It'll protect you a lot better from explosives that might be headed your way or regular small arms fire. It also means whoever you're going after cannot be a coward and just spam their grenade launcher at you. And if you combine it with the previous tip of going on a rooftop, you won't be an easy target to what medical professionals like to call getting fucking steamrolled. And now I hear you say, but Thighmangler, I thought you liked the risk associated with this thing. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut. Also, I'm gonna start giving whatever things I do a guide on a rating out of 10. Beginning with the 3 drones in this video, calling it the Mangler rating. So, Mangler rating? 8 Syrian villages. Thank you for watching. This is the end of the video, but don't click off just yet. I need to talk to you about the future of this series. So after pondering about how this series came to be and what it's become, I decided that it felt wrong that I had made at this point 4 expert guides, with this one being 5. I tried to divert that by putting user in between expert and guide, but it's still referred to as expert guides. I feel like I grabbed Pyrome's own series and ran off of it, so after 3 days of this video being out, I'm going to rename every single expert guide, except for the B11 video because that's an actual entry. I will be renaming all of them to user guides. The thumbnails will stay the same so that there is still a bit of connection. I'm sorry if this causes a bit of confusion. After all, just like everyone else that made the videos about their favorite GTA vehicles, we all encourage everyone to get to making expert guides, and by me making 5 of them, it would kind of defeat the purpose. I also want to point out that I made a Twitter. Yay! You can go ahead and follow me, but no promises that I won't roast you. I'm making this Twitter to get into arguments with people because, come on, what's the point of making a Twitter if it's not to argue with people you have never met? If you want to get in contact with me, my Discord is also in the description. That's where you can actually talk to me. I lately haven't talked as much as I used to on Discord, but me and 2 other pals were talking during Christmas Eve, and it was real wholesome. I'll get back to talking to people there constantly. But yeah, stay safe, stay sane. Remember, kids, it's not gay if you have socks on.
It's a long way to Mukumbura. It's a long way to Joe. It's a long way from your hometown, but you can have yourselves a ball with your mother.